This is Planet 76, your source for all things Philadelphia 76ers. We've got another great episode coming your way today, and we're cleared for takeoff. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody, to Planet 76 podcast, episode 34. Right. We have it online this time. I'm your co-host, Michael from Trust and Love. Troy with me here, as always. Gonna get right into the episode. We are chugging along. So if you're not on the train, you're gonna be left off soon. So I would say definitely get on that. And we're just gonna roll with it.
I like it. So yeah, Happy New Year from Planet 76. 2022. I can't believe it's already 2022, but here we are. So we're going to get into quite a bit tonight. So we're recording on January 4th, Tuesday, coming off a Sixers win against the Rockets last night, and a game coming up with the Magic tomorrow night. For many of you who are listening, I'm sure that'll be today. So that'll be covering a preview of that game. We'll cover again the win against the Nets and the Rockets. We're going to talk about Joel Embiid a little bit. I mean, he has played exceptionally well as of late, and we're going to spend a few minutes talking about what he's been doing lately.
Would love to talk about him. I never get tired talking about Embiid. I just can't. I just can't get tired of it.
He's special, and we need to soak it up every game that he plays in a Sixers uniform. We're going to get into Tobias Harris. He had a little interaction with the Philly crowd last night against Houston. Michael was in attendance with that one, so we'll get his take on that.
Yes, I was.
And then the latest, of course, on the COVID protocol and health and safety protocol, all that's going on Sixers related there. So Sixers currently sit at 20-16, winners of 4 straight. Feels good. 5 out of 6 in there as well. Currently the 6 seed, 3.5 back out of Brooklyn for the 2 seed. And the Chicago Bulls, they're, I guess, 5.5, 6 back of them, who are currently leading the Eastern Conference at 25-10. Good week for the Sixers. Wins over the Raptors, Nets, and Rockets. So general preview of that before we get into all of the breakdown of those games. What do you think from the Sixers this week?
I just got to say, it's really nice to go on a little win streak, although not the largest win streak, still a win streak nonetheless, with wins against the Nets, obviously. And just last night, I mean, just having a blowout win. I mean, the Sixers did it. They blew out the Wizards last week, but, it's just great to beat teams who suck how you're supposed to beat them. And that's what the Sixers did last night. So it was really great for that. And they haven't had a blowout like that in a long time, like a very long time. So it's really refreshing to say, hey, the Sixers can still do this. They're still a team that takes care of business when they need to, most of the time. Obviously, not all the times. But they still get the job done against subpar teams. And it was great to see. So really impressed with what I've seen this stretch of games this week here.
Yeah, I think the like I said, 20-16, it seems like the further and further we can get away from 500, the better I'm going to feel, of course. And, I hope that, I mean, we're going to talk about, too, some of the upcoming games are winnable games. So I think, your hope and my hope is that we never get close to that again the rest of the year. I mean, we're 4 over right now. I don't think we've been that since the very start of the season when we came out, pretty well. Let's keep that rolling. Let's not go near that territory again. We were 16-16, 8-9 days ago. So, what's the latest on protocol? We know Doc Rivers is there. He's missed, I guess, the last 2 or 3 games. 2 games he won there for Brooklyn, and then obviously that is what it is. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know Tyrese Maxey is in the protocol, and Matisse Thybulle is in the protocol, and they both were in it previously, right? Like a month ago. No? I think
they were. I think I know
sure.
Matisse definitely was. And I think Tyrese was as well.
Yeah.
I'm not positive on Tyrese, but I know for a fact because I think Matisse was there when Danny was there.
Yeah, he was there with
Or
Joel a
maybe it
little
was
bit.
Tobias.
Yep.
Yeah. It was them three. So I know for a
Right.
fact he was there, but I'm not Tyrese. I think so, but I'm not 100% sure.
I mean, so whatever the deal is there, I don't know. Like, I don't know what even it takes for them to get back in it. Like,
What's going on there?
How do they get put back in? But they are, nonetheless. I guess Shake Milton just returned for the last couple games after his little break.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a little shaky. I'll just say that, pun intended. His month of December only averaged 9 points a game on 39% from the field. I think he was 2 for 7 yesterday against Houston. But with Tyrese out, at least, again, I guess it's only 5-day quarantine thing now, but Shake will get the nod tomorrow night in the starting lineup against the Magic, and we'll see what he can do. Would love for, I mean, he's capable, obviously, we know, of 20, 30-point games. Would love to see him do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anything else Sixers-related news before we jump into Brooklyn?
No, I mean, the virus still just keeps running its course throughout the whole league. The Sixers are not excluded from that, and again, Doc Rivers as well. Dan Burke, great coach. He should coach. He should coach this team. Not really, but I mean, he's done a really solid job. So shout out to him. And yeah, I mean, guys stepping up. Again, I know we have in the notes here. Isaiah Joe had a great game last night. And to your point about Shake, yeah, I mean, really, it's just been the same thing. Like, we know what he can do as a player. We know the kind of numbers he can put up and how his production can look. So I'm really hoping we get some of those games from Shea because, I mean, last time we got it was the playoffs last year, and I think it won us one of those games against the Hawks. So really would like to see that from Shake because the Sixers need it, really. They really need a guy off the bench. They have Niang at times, Furk at times, but you can never have too much production off the bench.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, if he can step into a bigger role, more consistent role. I mean, he's had moments, I guess, this year. I mean, even when I say shaky, I mean, recently he had, I don't even know. I mean, he had 15 or so, just a couple games ago. So, but we'd love to see more consistency because he did have 0 in one of the recent games too. So it's like, can't have that, especially with Tyrese out. Sixers did have a matchup with Brooklyn at the end of last week. In Brooklyn, 110-102 victory. That was a fun one. Joel with 34 and 7. Tyrese Maxey was phenomenal. 25, 7 boards, 4 assists, and 5 of 8 from 3-point range. I mean, what'd you like from that one? There's a lot to choose from, I think. But 110-102, Sixers get the win. It felt good.
a lot to like from that game, especially the win, obviously. Maxey played fantastic. I believe it was a career-high 5 made threes for Maxey. Not something we're used to seeing. I didn't even know he was capable of shooting that many threes. Well, I don't want to say capable, but I didn't even know that he had any intention of attempting. Maybe he didn't either, but of attempting that many threes. But he made 5 of them, and that was great. So, and obviously Joel. I mean, again, like I think I just said it on air, but I might not have said it on air. I will never be tired of talking about Embiid, just how good literally how good he is. And good is a really, really big understatement to describe him.
He's been balling. And I mean, we're going to get to this in a little, but I think there's certainly a connection between the Sixers playing well and Joel Embiid playing well. And it's so great to see the Sixers win 4 straight, even in the chaos. And again, every NBA team's going through it right now. I mean, there's so many guys that are on 10-day contracts that you're just like, wow, he's back in the league. Wow, he's back in the league. Wow. It's nuts. There's a guy from West Virginia is my favorite college basketball team, wearing the shirt right now, and they had a guy who hasn't played college basketball in 5 years sign a 10-day contract with the Pistons, Jayshawn Page. He was overseas in a pretty good league over there, and then this season, most recently, he was with the G League with the Boston Celtics and was playing pretty well. And just a few days ago, got picked up by the Detroit Pistons. So just amazing, like a story like that. I mean, 5 years removed from college, you don't think you're making it to the league.
Yeah.
and just an indicator of where the league's at right now. So, but yeah, great win. Tyrese Maxey had at least one big three late in that game against Brooklyn from the corner. I forget what the time and score
was. He was clutch, too, in that game.
Yeah, it was big. Despite Harden and Kevin Durant getting 33 apiece in that one, it was not enough for the Nets, and Sixers were able to get that win. A little smack talk at the end or something between KD and Embiid. I didn't see exactly what fully went down, but hey, we'll take it. It was fun to watch. Yeah.
Competitors, man. They just, like, KD said it after the game, like, we just both like to compete. Like, that's just our nature. That's how the game's supposed to be played, in my opinion. Like, yeah, they're whatever, they're pals or whatever, but on the court, like, you're both trying to win the game. Like, there's no friends on the court. I think Russell Westbrook quoted it best. I'm not exactly sure what he said, but something along the lines of, when I'm on the court, the only friend is the basketball. Is basically what he said, and like, that's pretty much the same mentality for those two guys. Like, we both want to win. Like, the other player wants to be better than the other player, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, it was cool. Even the post game comments were cool. You know, I mean, it wasn't no bad blood there. Just competitors. So, good win against Brooklyn. Again, the win previously against Toronto, and then Houston as recent as last night, January 3rd. You had the opportunity to attend that game. Let me ask you this. What was it like? I haven't been in the Wells Fargo Center since last season, so what was the atmosphere like? How was it? Let's hear it.
Dude, it was great. Like, you wouldn't even really think it was the Rockets playing, because there were still a lot of people there, and I went with my dad, and we weren't really expecting a big crowd. And I mean, obviously it wasn't sold out, because we ended up moving a couple seats over, but like, the atmosphere was fantastic. I mean, great. Like, I posted it on my story last night on Trust Love, and I was like, there's I forget exactly what I said, but I was basically saying, like, there's nothing really quite like being at a Sixers game live, just the atmosphere and just like experiencing the game live and seeing the guys play, like, in the same building. It's just not like, there's nothing else really like it in anywhere or any time. And I don't, it's the Rockets. Sure, they suck, but I don't care. I wanted to see some of the young guys on the Rockets. I wanted to see the Sixers play. Like, the Sixers are playing. Like, if I have the opportunity to go to a game, I will take it, unless I can somehow.
Absolutely.
But it was a great win. Like I said, blowout win. Haven't had one in a decent bit now, so I love it.
Got to see a Joel Embiid triple-double live. That's cool.
Yeah.
When did you start tracking that?
Dude.
Like, when were you like, oh, he might get it? Because I know when I thought he might get it.
I think it was the third quarter. I saw him have, like, 24, 9, and 8 or something. And I was like, he's about to get a triple-double. And I thought Korkmaz was going to get one,
dude.
He had 24 and 8 boards and, like, 5 assists.
He finished with 24, 11, and 6, yeah.
I was like, wow.
He got a double-double. Joel, I was monitoring it in the first, because he came out the gate. He had like 4 assists, at least 4 late in the first quarter, and then he sat for a little bit in the second. I don't know what he had at half, but he was well on his way, it appeared, in the first quarter. So glad he was able to get that. But yeah, as you mentioned, Korkmaz 24, 11, and 6. That's got to be his best, like, most well-rounded game, I would say, of his career. Hard to argue that.
And I think he had 4 threes. Some of the threes he was taking and making, I was like, I think he hit 2 in a row at one point, and they were both a considerable distance from the 3-point line. They were a couple feet out, and I was like,
he started really hot last night, right?
I was like, what?
Yeah,
he did. Yeah, he did.
That was good to see.
I was like, are you kidding me?
Man.
That was crazy. And it's like nothing. And when I say, like, seeing the Sixers, also seeing Embiid live and in person, like, this dude is like a myth, unless you see him in real life. Like, he just dwarfs everyone on the court. Like, him and Drummond are extremely large humans. Like, you don't actually realize it until you see it. I'm like, this dude is a freak of nature.
Well, especially when you
It's just
consider what he was
crazy.
doing. He had that stretch in the first quarter,
And especially for
the
what he was
Euro.
doing on the
I know
court,
the
dude.
crowd
Like
went nuts.
he was that yeah, dude. He was dominating. Like I know the Rockets don't really have a competent center, and especially because Daniel Tice is trash. I hope he's listening, but like he was eating the Rockets alive. Like it was
He was.
magnificent.
He
It
was.
was
He was very
magnificent.
good. He was very good. Isaiah Joe was very good.
He was awesome. He
Because,
was
I mean, outside
great
of
too.
those three, no one particularly shot the ball well. We touched on Shake.
Yeah.
I mean, Seth got some shots up. I don't know what he finished with, but, I mean, he shot less than 50% from the field for sure. Tobias struggled.
Yeah.
So those three kind of got the job done. And speaking of Tobias Harris, an interesting moment happened last night that you got to be a part of. And this wasn't just a Sixers kind of thing. Like, Bleacher Report posted this. House of Highlights posted this. I don't know if ESPN did, but, like, so basically, Tobias, what did he do? He turned the ball over, or was it a shot clock violation? Like, yeah.
And they booed. I think he might have turned the ball over.
He turned the ball over. They booed him. Could you hear that? Like, was that noticeable?
It's funny because, like, after the play, I was listening, and after the play, I was
Wait a
like,
minute.
did they just boo Harris? I was like, I think I heard some boos, and something that some people did not talk about. I think I heard some boos in the pregame line when they were announcing
really?
the names. I think I heard when he said Harris. I think I heard some boos on the far side of the stadium. I was like, did they just
You
boo
gotta be kidding me.
Harris? I was like, no way. I'm imagining things,
Wow.
right? So that was interesting.
So, and he played. He, like, obviously you don't see this live, like, while you're there, but he like laughed it
Yeah.
off a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong. He laughed about the boos, and then a possession or two later, he scored. They of course, they clap when someone scores, and he mouths them off. He's like, "Don't effing clap." Says it a couple times to himself, and that was that. So what do you? I know you posted about it on Trust the Love, kind of about this interaction specifically. What do you make of it? Just what are your thoughts, and I'll give my take too.
And it's crazy because I didn't catch that when I was there. Like I didn't see that thing, and I think it's probably because his back was turned to me where we were sitting. I'm trying to remember that sequence. I remember the shot that he hit. It was a little post fade.
Right.
I don't
because
remember,
it just
I don't
a
remember
camera
him.
just so happened to catch him. Right.
Right, to pick it up.
That you're gonna see on the TV, and then he reacts. I think he just said, "Don't effing clap, don't effing clap." Like, to me, it wasn't obnoxious. It was to me, and you can give your take too. To me, like, who cares? Because, like, it's literally is Tobias Harris talking to himself is what it appears to look like to me. It's Tobias Harris, like, who knows why he's saying it or psyching himself up. It's not like he's pulling in Antonio Brown interaction level with the crowd. You know what I mean? I don't know if you saw that. Because that's not what he's doing. He's kind of just talking to himself. He's saying, don't clap now, you know. So to me, it's like if Tobias wants to psych himself up, get himself, pumped up, whatever way he wants to do it, more power to you. That was my thought. And again, because because it's not, one, that's not something you see live. Two, it happens because some camera happened to be on the right angle of Tobias Harris's face when you see that. Other than that, you don't know about this. Other than that, Bleacher Report doesn't post it. House of Highlights doesn't post it. Like, it's not a news story. But it was because a camera caught it. So I don't know if you agree, disagree, but I don't make anything of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to look. I haven't, and I won't look too much into it. It's just like, okay, they booed him. He clapped back. I mean, it's like, if you're a fan booing and you don't expect something like that, at least in the back of your mind, I mean, that's kind of on you, because if you're going to boo somebody or, like, talk trash to somebody, I mean, you got to expect something back. Like, especially And in a sense, for me, like playing basketball, like playing pickup, like hey, like I just scored on you, like you're like, what's up? Get in their face. I mean, you
Right.
ordinarily you would expect them to do something back, especially if they get you on the next possession, like they like cross you up or something, like they break your ankles or something. They're gonna
Right.
get back at you, so you have to expect that. And it's like if you're a fan, and you boo, it's like okay, that's fine. You can boo all you want, but don't be surprised if and when the player you're booing starts playing well or doing better, they kind of nudge back or clap back a little
Right.
bit. I mean, it's I don't think it's that big of a deal because fans do that. Some fans are just straight idiots.
No doubt.
But like, and that's not saying like people who are booing were idiots. I'm just saying like
Right.
people are just weird and just whatever. So I won't get too far into that.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, I think there's a difference. It's a different story if Tobias Harris, like, after, his way of doing what he did, saying what he said, is after the Sixers call a timeout, he goes and faces the crowd and yells, "Don't clap." Like, what he
Yeah.
did was to himself and
Oh
subtle.
man.
It just happened to be caught by a camera, period.
Yeah.
So moving on, but an interesting thing that you got to be a part of in Philadelphia at the Wells Fargo Center last night. Again, Sixers winners of 4 straight, 133-113 last night against Houston, and Orlando coming up tomorrow night. But before we talk about what's upcoming, let's talk about the big fella. Sixers are 5-2 over their last 7 games, and let me tell you what Joel has done in his last 7 games for the Sixers. So I'm going to read off these numbers. It says Joel in his last 7 had 32 points, 9 boards, 6 assists, 41 points, 10 boards, 5 assists, 4 blocks, 2 steals. That's all in one game against the Boston Celtics. 23 points, 10 boards, 36 points, 13 boards, 36 points, 11 boards, 4 assists, 34 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals, 31 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists, and 2 blocks last night against Houston. Again, Sixers are 5-2 over those last 7. What can you say about Joel Embiid?
I will keep this very short because there isn't really many words you can use to describe Joel Embiid, but the word I like to use and the word I used on this episode tonight and probably frequently is just magnificent. He is magnificent as a player. He seems magnificent as a person as well, but as a player, I mean, just absolutely just fantastic. Like, fantastic. Phenomenal, really. He is just, like, that's it.
Yeah.
He's magnificent. That's it.
And, I think we touched on it a little bit, but I think it is worth noting, of course, the obvious that the Sixers, at least right now, are playing well when Joel plays well, and that's good. I think that's good for Joel to see, because a lot of times he'll get in this mindset of, let me go out there and dominate, and if he's getting in this mindset to go out there and dominate, and let's say the Sixers were 2-5 in these 7 games, that's going to be discouraging to anybody to put up those numbers and lose. But, I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me to back this up by any means, but I don't think that Joel plays at this level for a stretch of games and the Sixers are, like, under 500 in those games. It seems like when he's playing at this level for 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever amount of games, the Sixers are winning. And it doesn't matter who else is on the court. And, I mean, there's a lot of players in this league who cannot say that about what they mean to their team. Look at Trae Young. Was that last night or Sunday night? He had 56 points, 14 assists, and they lost, right? They lost.
I can't believe
Yeah.
that. Yeah, they lost to the Blazers. To the Blazers without Damian.
56 and 14 assists. No one in NBA history has done that, and they lost the game. I'll tell you right now, if Joel gets 56 and 14 boards, Sixers are going to win. I'm confident in saying that, and so I think there's a difference there that you see in Joel amongst some other of the league's greats with what his numbers mean to this team in the record column in the wins and losses. So Joel has been magnificent. I'll second that, and it's just good to see him playing. I mean, he struggled earlier. Struggled for Joel Embiid status and who he is. We touched on that too. Like, just because he's played at such a high level last year doesn't mean we should expect that, but he certainly is getting back to that level. Let's just say that. Eastern Conference Player of the Month for the month of December, averaged 29 and 12, I want to say. So, 29, 11 boards, 4 assists for Joel in the month of December, Eastern Conference Player of the Month. So what else? Upcoming schedule. We can talk specifically about Orlando, but the next 4 games are Orlando, San Antonio, Houston, and Charlotte, 2 home, 2 away in that stretch between now and next Wednesday, January 12th. So I'm just going to come out and say it. Those are winnable games. You're nodding that head. I see that. So it would be pretty freaking sweet if the I don't know. I mean, these are winnable games. We should be favored to win every single one of these games. And if we can keep this streak rolling, knock on wood, but we can be looking at 20 and 12. That'd be pretty freaking awesome. Not saying we're going to do it, but that'd be awesome.
I mean, we saw how many game win streak did this team go on in the beginning of the season?
6, 7, yeah.
6. I mean, we saw that at the beginning of the season with this team. So there's really nothing saying they can't replicate that, especially when you consider the fact that, let's be honest, I'm going to second what Troy just said. These are winnable games, and in my opinion, they should win all 4 of these games. Magic are not good. Spurs are not good. Hornets are pretty good, but the Rockets are also not good.
And we get the Hornets at home.
aren't good. The Hornets aren't good enough to the point where the Sixers don't stand a chance. That's also a very winnable game. So there's no reason they can't. Again, there's no reason they can't replicate that win streak and win these 4. And even if they drop 1, I mean, okay, but they should for the most part win out in this little 4-game stretch here because again, these teams are not 75% of these teams are not very good. So.
And the other one's average-ish. I think, not that I'm going to put money and say I expect to win all 4, but, like, on an individual one-game-at-a-time basis, like, my expectation against Orlando tomorrow night is that we're going to win. My expectation against San Antonio 2 nights after that is that they're going to win. Like, these are winnable games, and they should be wins. And if we want to climb the standings in the Eastern Conference and continue to just improve, I butchered our record earlier. What did I say? I said 20 and 16. I said we'd be 20 and 12. I'm way off. We'd be 24 and 16 we
even still same
above 500,
same like differential.
So 24 and 16 would be awesome. 40 games into the season, so creeping up on 50 wins, to pace out the rest of the year, coming up on halfway through the season. Mm-hmm. So that would be good. Franz Wagner. We get a rematch with him. He gave us 27 last time for the Orlando Magic. I think he's surpassed all rookies in scoring recently. He's averaging 16 a game. He's playing very, very well, so look out for him tomorrow night. I don't even know what else to say about the Orlando Magic, but look out for that guy. Look out for that guy. Yeah. Anything else here?
No, I mean, again, I could talk about Joel Embiid all day. I won't do it for the sake of our time, but like he's been great, really great, and like you mentioned, when he's playing well, I think it rubs off on the team and they rally around him, obviously because he's their best player. And we're seeing that again. It's really great to see, and I just really hope and pray that they can keep this up, because the Sixers need a nice stretch of just let's win games, let's just crank through the schedule, let's just run, let's just do it.
Yeah. This is certainly the most comfortable stretch of games I think I've had this year. In terms of a feeling about the Sixers' chances in games. I assume Doc Rivers will be back in San Antonio. That could be right. San Antonio, they play on Friday.
Okay.
I think quarantine's only 5 days, so I guess he could be back tomorrow in Orlando. I don't know. I haven't heard, but I definitely assume he'll be back by the weekend. So no back-to-backs in this stretch either. Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday for these next 4. So let's keep the train rolling, and we will keep it rolling here on Planet 76. We'll be back with episode 35 next week, so be sure to tune into that one.
The snake episode.
The snake episode. Oh, boy. Yes. All right. So we'll see you next time on Planet 76. Peace. Are you on Instagram? Why don't you go give us a follow at Planet 76 Podcast so you can be in the know when we drop new episodes. Thanks for listening to this one, and we'll see you next time.